What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here. This is Arrow Season 4, Episode 19, Canary Cry. This was a good episode. There was a lot of emotion in it, and it's one of the things that Arrow really hasn't gotten right recently. Is a lot of the emotion has felt forced, or it's felt unrealistic. You've got characters arguing and fighting when they normally wouldn't, and you've got characters that are arguing over stuff that they weren't arguing over a little while ago. They suddenly changed their minds out of nowhere. Um, so yeah, I like the fact that we do get to sort of spend an episode focused a bit on what the death of Laurel means to these characters. You've got Felicity beating herself up because she feels like she should have been there to help. Maybe she wouldn't have done much, but she feels like I've helped out before. Maybe in this case I could have helped out again. Maybe this is the one time that I should have been there and I wasn't, and this is what happens. John's beating himself up because Andy betrayed him, and he feels like Oliver saw it, he chose not to see it, and then that all happened. Oliver, of course, as he claims in this episode, the king of beating himself up, sure enough is beating himself up because he feels like he should have stopped Dark. Quentin is freaking out because I didn't talk about this in the last review, I don't think, but I was a bit worried about his heart for a second because, he's had the heart problems before. And yeah, losing Sarah was hard, but he had thought she was gone for a while. He thought she was dead for quite a while. So she came back, and then she died again, and it's like, well, he already went through that loss one time, so it's not as hard to suffer that loss the second time. It sounds a bit weird, like you would think the second time would be even worse, but at the same time, you've already gone through it once, so you kind of know what it feels like. You know that pain, you know how to deal with it. Laurel is, I wouldn't say she's the more favorite daughter, but they were a lot closer than he and Sarah were because Sarah was League of Assassins. She had changed a lot since she was a kid. Laurel, he was with her as she was becoming the Black Canary, as she was changing herself. He was with her through all of that. And then he even said in this episode, she's my rock. She was my rock. I can't do this. It was very heartbreaking. Especially because he's a character that I've come to enjoy. I've hated him at times. I've liked him at times. I wanted him to die at times. But he really has come a long way, and he's a great part of the team now. He's somebody that they can talk to, somebody who knows the police and all of that stuff. So yeah, it was very interesting to see the emotion there. The fact that this girl could just randomly grab all of Laurel's stuff, her thing, somehow they didn't explain how she modified it so she could use it and it was at a higher decibel than Laurel's. I guess they just attributed it to, oh, she's super smart, she can totally do that. Yeah, that was the one. If I had to pick out one major issue, no, there were two major issues. I'll get to the other one in a second. But if I had to pick out one major issue in this episode, it's the fact that they didn't really explain how this girl was able to just grab all of Laurel's stuff. We saw her. If you want to make it surprising whenever it's like, oh, look, it's this girl, maybe you shouldn't have her walk right in the middle of all of your characters looking suspicious. Just maybe. Whenever they said, oh, somebody stole Laurel's stuff, I'm like, it's probably that girl. But anyway, they didn't explain how she was able to get all that stuff, just that she was in the hospital a lot. And then she never explained how she was able to modify it so that she could use it and not Laurel, and make it even more powerful. That was never explained. So, anyway, I do like the fact that she does have motivations. Her parents were part of H.I.V.E. They died serving H.I.V.E. So it's nice to see that they do have a reason for her. She has good motivations. That was really well handled. The way it ends is a bit cliche. She's ready to kill Rouve Dark, and then Oliver steps in, talks her down, and then Rouve Dark's like, arrest him, even though he just saved my life, and all of these witnesses will not say that. Arrest him! that was even they even threw like a little joke line in for Oliver. He's like, "I've seen this movie before," and shoots the arrow, gets out of there. Um, because yeah, that's kind of like I have to wonder if any of these witnesses that were there will be like, "Wait, he just saved her life and she wants him arrested? What?" Um. Anyway, on to the funeral. I thought the funeral was very well handled. They were there press cameras there? Like, I wonder if this whole Laurel Lance was the Black Canary thing will now be a widespread fact, or if this was just for the group of people that were there. I don't know. Because if it is found out that Laurel Lance was Black Canary, one, I feel like Ruve Dark's gonna be like, oh, this is just Oliver Queen spouting nonsense to try to, he's bitter over the election. I'm sure she'll say something to sort of knock that idea down because they don't want, she won't want Laurel Lance to be seen as the Black Canary. But just really quickly on the whole vigilante thing, I hate that we're back to this again. We've kind of gone full circle. We're nobody likes the vigilantes. They want them caught, and then oh well, he's a hero. He's helping the city, but he's killing people. Like the police don't like him, but people are like, well, he's saving us. And then all of a sudden he starts becoming a good guy, and the police are like, oh, so he is helping us. And then all of a sudden they're bad guys. They're being framed for stuff. Captain Lance wants Oliver and Green Arrow dead because Sarah's dead. And then oh, well, now we're helping again. Now they're working with the police again. Okay, and now all of a sudden Ruve Darsh is like, oh, I want him captured, and so now they're the bad guys again. I'm tired of going through this storyline. I'm tired of them I don't mind having them have to work outside the law. I don't mind if some police officers are like, we don't trust vigilantes, but to have them be criminals again, it feels like we've already gone through this storyline. Do we really have to go back to it again, or they're having to dodge the police again? But it does sort of tie into John's storyline, which he had a very good scene in this one when he tried to take out Ruve Dark. Probably one of the best acting moments from I can't remember his name now, whoever plays John. Really, really good scene for him. Back to the funeral. Okay, got sidetracked. I like the fact that we get to see Oliver sort of standing up for Laurel and saying, no, the Black Canary was her legacy. This is who she was. I don't want her to be remembered as a criminal. I like the speech that he gave. It was very nice, very well done. But like I said, I want to know if this is going to be something that is widely known, or if this is just something that was said at the funeral and people may spread the word a little bit. The flashbacks in this one were really, really good because they're flashbacks to a time right after Tommy died, and it actually leads to why did Oliver leave? Not why did he leave, we knew why, but when he left after Tommy died for the beginning of season 2, he was back at Lian. We get to see that actually happen at the end of this episode. We have flashbacks of Oliver talking to Laurel after Tommy died, feeling guilty for what happened, wishing he could have saved them, all of that stuff. And then it ends with, they are kind of talking about getting back together, and then Oliver decides he can't do this, leaves her a note, and then leaves to go to Lian Yu. I really liked kind of how they drew parallels almost to Tommy's death and Laurel's death. It is very well done in this episode, and it's something that the flashbacks have not done this season, which they did very well in the first 3 seasons. So it was very interesting and very, very good to see that they handled the flashbacks well. And yeah, it was very effective in this episode. It makes me wonder though if Katie Cassidy is going to be on the show, but in flashbacks now. She's still Laurel Lance, but not in the present day. I don't know how they're going to handle it. I did say that there was a possibility that she was still alive. Slim chance, but I feel a little bit less confident about it now. I still think it was very suspicious how she has a private conversation that we don't get to hear with Oliver, and then the next thing you know, she's dead. And they never really explain, what happened. They just, one second she seems like she's going to be fine, and then the next second, dead. But I don't know. If she is still alive, and Oliver knows about it, I'm pretty sure Quentin Lance is going to kill him. I'm fairly certain, or at least try, because I mean, it's one thing to have something in place to where, okay, you have to fake her death so Damien Dark doesn't come after her anymore, but at the same time, if you do it so much to the point where even Quentin Lance is about to break down and have another heart attack, and you still don't tell him, that may be a little too far. Like, I don't know. If she is still alive, they are taking extremely enormous, like, just extreme lengths to convince the audience that she is without showing us some actual stuff. Anyway, the one other problem I did have with this episode, though, was at the end. I feel like they spoiled something for us. And, if for some reason you decide to watch Arrow all the way through, and you're not watching The Flash, and you're going to watch The Flash later, just go ahead and click off this, see you at the next review, all that good stuff, because this is Flash stuff. But, yeah, Barry doesn't have his speed right now, at least in The Flash. The way they handle it, it goes, The Flash is on Tuesday, Arrow's on Wednesday. In Tuesday's episode of The Flash, he doesn't have his speed. And then in Wednesday's episode of Arrow, at the end of this episode, he has his speed again. Really? Like, could you... I kind of want to go back to the first episode, and I may do this, maybe. Yeah, I still got time. But I do want to go back to the first episode and kind of look at that grave scene again, because I'm pretty sure they added a few things in, like, Zoom, mentioning Zoom and stuff like that. I feel like they probably did throw in some extra stuff that they didn't want to spoil for the Flash too early. But I want to know if he used his speed. I feel like he did, because that scene looked like it was already in there. And so maybe they did that without realizing it's going to conflict with the timeline. I don't know. I thought it would have been very clever if, like, he shows up, sorry I missed the funeral, like, what happened? And then that's when he says, I don't have my speed. I would have loved to be here, but I've lost my speed. I can't run fast anymore. We're working on getting it back. Something like that, something that actually ties it together better. Because now I feel like, no, he's got his speed back out of nowhere. Anyway, maybe it's just a nitpick. Maybe it's just me wanting to find something wrong. I don't know. But yeah, so those are my thoughts in this episode. It was really, really good, but hopefully they can continue this going forward. But yeah, let me know what you thought down in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe for more of Arrow, and I'll see you at the next review. Peace out.